Everyone has a hood. Wait, LIDER, thank you so much for the tier 1 sub. Is it actually LIDER? Wait, is that actual LIDER? Oh my god, it's actually LIDER. Holy fuck, thank you so much for the sub. Yeah, just wanted to see the VOD of your review. Oh shit, I didn't get to review game 3. Oh damn, fuck. Okay, I'll actually review game 3. Alright, let's go review game 3 now. Hey guys, Loco here to review the game 3 versus Misfits and SK Prime in the EU Masters Finals. LIDER ended up subbing to me and he wanted to see the reviews, so I actually didn't get to do reviews and I kind of just did a watch through and I was talking in chat, so I will do a special game 3 review just for LIDER and rest of you guys. So let's talk about pick and bans a little. So one thing that was happening throughout the series was they were banning out LIDER's champion in Akali, Zed, and then the third one was Rise. And they shifted the third ban from Rise to Morgana because this player Hiva was actually going off on Morgana and they were running stuff like Kate Morg and Sivir Morg and just destroying SK Prime's bot lane. I mean, destroy in the literal sense of the word, where the Sivir Morgana would be solo killing the Israel Soraka, so they just could not play versus it at all, and they ended up banning Morg and opening up Rise. So they first pick Rise, and I think they take Jace plus something here. SK has been favoring Jace. Yeah, Jace plus Jarvan. So let's see what Misfits replies with. Seju, not Azir. If I remember, I think it was Irelia, yeah. So, I mean, Seju Irelia, very much extremely strong mid-jungle duo. Irelia plus Seju is so good because Irelia can proc Seju passive really easily. You force the other person to take cleanse while you still have ignite and a lot of kill potential. It's just a really strong jungle mid duo. If either of your top or mid can play Irelia very well, running Irelia plus Seju in either lanes is really fucking strong. So let's see what they end up banning. Looks like they're banning support, Kench, and Thresh for SK. Let's see what Misfits end up banning. So they're target banning Varus and Kai'Sa. So they end up taking Galio. Ooh, this is actually something really nice from SK side, being able to connect the Galio and Jarvan together. I would have preferred if Misfits banned Galio so they can't connect the Galio Jarvan together, because that's really core. Looks like finishing up with Alistar Sivir. Oh, whoa, Draven instead. Okay, Ezreal. How do I feel about Ezreal here? Ezreal's just okay. It's not the greatest, it's not the worst. Ezreal's nice versus the Galio and the Jarvan, but other than that, Ezreal's just okay here. So Misfits team comp is it's a 1-3-1 comp because they have solo laners running teleport that can split push very well. It's a 1-3-1 comp that does want a team fight later on because you have stuff like Sejuani, you have stuff like Alistar. These are very good frontline and very good engages. So 1-3-1 into team fight would be Misfits win condition. And for SK Gaming, it would be 1-4 into team fights because they have Jace who can split push, but it's going to be really dangerous for the Jace to split push later on versus the Irelia. As a Jace, for you to be able to split push versus the Irelia later on, you need to make sure you're up on tempo and your jungle 2v2 is good enough because Irelia will get help from her jungler and she'll be able to dive the Jace very easily. So a lot of this game is going to depend on how well the Jace does early, how well the Rise does early, and how well the Irelia does early. Whichever of the three solo laners can get ahead early will be able to control the game in the side lane. Would you prefer not to ban Irelia instead of Akali? Personally, I think Irelia is a much stronger champion than Akali, and also LIDER has consistently shown very good play on Irelia, so I think it was... I'm not sure how I would have handled it. One thing that's really curious to me is why they're banning Zed. Like, why the fuck are you banning Zed when Irelia... You're banning Zed and giving up Irelia, so that's really weird to me. Is LIDER so good on Zed where you rather not have him play Zed and you rather have him play Irelia, where Irelia's one of the core meta champions right now and she's extremely strong? Holy shit, this pad thing from the Jarvan. He went red straight into the Seju thread. Holy shit, he's going red, Seju's red, Seju's Wraith, and exiting without doing Scuttle. So Seju sees this and she's like, what the fuck? Now she doesn't have camps. Oof. Damn, this actually could have been really dangerous for a leader. Let's go back and watch. Yeah, because he's Irelia, so he shouldn't be getting hit by Jarvan EQ, but this is a really dangerous spot for leader because his wave is going to push out from him, and J4 is here to gank first, and Seju's going to be kind of pressured in lane for a while. Okay, Azir went in a little bit too early, and leader was able to chunk Azir, so they couldn't actually play out the 2v2. If that wasn't Azir, or if the Azir was playing it better, it would have been so much worse. So J4 now the game's in control of FK for a little bit due to how ahead the J4 is. Wait, what the fuck? Holy shit, that was actually such a good read. But the J4 fucked up so badly there. What the fuck is he doing? He's just trying to cross over. He's trying to cross over when his mid laner doesn't have prio, so they can close on him really easily. Yeah, Seju got 2 stacks off. He got the stun off. So he has to E here, so to make sure he can follow right after he flashes. He EQs and then flashes, follows, and puts down the other E, and then able to Q and kill. Very nice. Damn, I actually think the SK jungler played it really well with his initial pathing. If he played right well after the initial pathing and he was better sync with the mid laner, he could have taken over the game. But they ended up giving up an opening to Misfits now. And now it's so much better for Misfits. Wow, they were able to deny Sejuani 2 camps from her own jungle, red and the Wraith, and take Scuttle on top side. He just needed to be able to push up with Azir in that timing. If they just played things a little bit better, it would have been in such like shitty situation for Misfit and so good for SK. Now the problem is the Irelia has a kill and Irelia has a lead, and the Seju was able to catch up, so the level 6 power spike for Irelia and Seju is going to be really hard to deal with. Yeah, the Azir has to be so careful. Irelia level 6. Azir still has cleanse though, so he's not in such a shitty spot. But the thing that's going to happen is Irelia is going to be able to get priority and roam with Seju. Yeah, here we see it. Irelia got priority and she's roaming with Seju, and then they can make plays together, and Azir is going to be pushed in under turret, so it's going to fuck with Jarvan's priority a lot, and it's going to allow Seju to get early level 6, and they're going to be able to either dive top side or dive bot side. For SK, their best thing they can do is kind of try to follow the Irelia and make sure they don't allow the dives to happen. Yeah, they went to threaten the top dive. It wasn't really happening, so now Irelia has to go back and catch mid lane. Bot maintaining prio because they're the Ezreal side. Galio Triss can start building prio now, depending on how they use the Q, because it's really awkward for the Alistar to go in. Alistar can't go on the Triss, and Alistar can't go on the Galio. Whoever he goes in on the exit, it's really bad for him. Unless he gets the fucking... so that was one of the best engages that the Alistar could get, where he got a... what you want to call it? Hextech Flash engage on the Galio. But even when he got the Hextech Flash engage on the Galio, whenever he starts using his taunting, the damage reduction and the kind of CC and the damage he can do as the Alistar is trying to exit after the initial combo is just way too much. And yeah, they weren't able to burst the Galio, where they were able to burst the Alistar in return. Oof, nice KP from the Riot. So he's going to lose a lot topside for that too. Riot's able to pick up 2 kills. He lost 2 plating for it. Not the end of the world. He got 1 kill, so it's not the end of the world for him. But yeah, this is one thing that is going to be problematic. The Jace is farming nicely, and the Jace is in a good spot. Galio doing a good job of matching the Alistar. So now Misfits wants to play with their mid jungle lead. Sejuani finally 6. And SK wants to play with their top lane lead. J4 finally backs, finishes his first item in Ghostblade. J4 is going to start building a lot of priority here. And Misfits, so this is kind of race for tempo. I'll try to explain what the race for tempo means. So right now, what Misfits wants to do is they want to take the tempo, or they want to take the lead advantage they have in Sejuani and Irelia and start affecting the map before Jace can push his lead on top side and start affecting the map. Whoever can start moving and affecting the map first is going to gain a lead in tempo, and it's going to force the other team to deal with them. So let me give an example of the Jace having the lead first and doing what he wants to do with it. If Jace is pushing top side and Ryze is getting shoved in here, and the J4 is right here backing up the Jace, then, and they're hitting the turret before Irelia and Seju can move around the map and set up a bot dive, then that means they have the tempo advantage top side, and they're the first ones doing it. The reverse would be if Irelia and Seju push out mid, and then they rotate bot side and they're threatening the bot dive, then they have the lead in tempo. Whoever has the lead in tempo forces the enemy team to react first, and they have to go on the defensive. And in League of Legends right now, it is so much better to be the team that's up on tempo and that's making the offensive plays first. So we're going to look at who starts moving and who starts affecting the map first. The Irelia Sejuani or the Jace. Or they can make a play on bot side. I'm not sure why Ezreal died here. Let's rewatch that situation. It's an Ezreal All-Star. They should never be in a position to die. Oof. So he's pushing out the wave, and then he got a little bit too cocky, like killing this ward. He didn't expect Galio to be there, charging up his taunt and flashing. And also, the Galio did a really great job of being able to taunt both of them, both the All-Star and the Ezreal, so All-Star can't knock away the Galio while he's going on top of the Ezreal. Really good from the Galio. Yep, and then able to full combo the Ezreal, and then they kill the Ezreal. So now SK actually has the tempo lead. So they're going to need to send people to deal with this bot side, and they're going to be able to push up top with Jace. And they have the tempo lead, forcing Misfits to deal with them. Oh, Seju going in for the steal right here. She didn't even have smite. What the fuck was that? Did she just smite there? Okay, I think she just smited there and it's a 15-second cooldown. Never mind. Yeah, I mean, they didn't use their tempo advantage. They just used being able to pick off the Ezreal and shifting it into Dragon. We still go back to the original point regarding tempo advantage and what SK can enable. I really would like to see SK play towards top side. They need to stop playing towards bottom. I know they killed the Ezreal All-Star, but that was more from a mistake from Ezreal All-Star, more so than that being a really good play. Now that they don't have playmaking tools and Galio Flash, I want them to play towards top side more and enable the Jace. Azir doing a good job making sure he backs up and making sure he is in a weak spot. What the fuck is this Ezreal doing? He's just dying to the Tristana one-on-one. I know the Galio got an assist because he used ultimate, but this is literally the Ezreal just dying to the Tristana one-on-one and bleeding. LIDER doing a good... I mean, Misfit is doing a decent job of responding, but while they're responding to this, like while they're responding to bot side, Azir is pushing up mid and Jace is pushing up top. They're not going to get more from this. Even if they get this bottom turret, they're going to lose 2 turrets for this. This is really bad in Misfits. Like, they're not pushing their lead. Instead, what's happening to them is they're forced to play defensive. J4 doing Herald instead. I'd much rather J4 pressure the turrets right now with the number advantage they have and do the Herald later, because they can do the Herald at any time because they have Jace so ahead. Yeah, they could have just gotten top turret and then done Herald after. Really weird timing on the Herald, in my opinion. It was an opening, but it was an opening to take turret, and you can do the Herald anytime you want. Yeah, Tristan and Galio, extremely hard lane to gank. Like, they're so... SK ended up getting the turret second. Let me double check. I think they got the turret second. Yeah, so SK ended up getting second turret and they didn't end up getting first turret. They could have gotten first turret if they pressured for top side a lot more earlier and done Herald after. After they get this turret, they can push up top and then do Herald and then start playing for mid lane with the Herald. But because the order they did it was wrong, where they split the pressure, where they're doing Herald, top turret, and mid, instead of just doing top turret first as a group and then doing Herald, they actually miss out on first turret and they fall kind of behind on tempo. And the Galio didn't get to back, the J4 didn't get to back. They're on the map for such a long time without being able to spend their gold, which is really bad. Everyone needs to start resetting because they got the turret gold, but they haven't reset yet. So the tempo of everything is a little bit off. J3 sets. Now everyone resets. Good job on SK to have matching recalls afterwards though. So now that things that are coming up is Inferno Drake in 40 seconds. So J4 wants to push out and then move up for Inferno Drake. He does not want to be pressuring second turret when Inferno Drake is up. He's kind of opted into making sure he team fights because right now he can't split push and give up dragons. His team is stronger, so he wants to be able to fight. Okay, this fight is going to be super important now. I'll tell you that, okay. So SK have position where now Misfits have to get through this choke point, and it's really hard for Misfits to get through this choke point. And SK can defend this choke point with Galio, with Azir, with Jace poke. They want to defend this choke point and making sure they have mid pushed up. They have to deal with bot lane though. Bot lane probably let it push to here and push all the way out. They have to control these two waves while never letting Misfits pass through this choke point, and SK can take the dragon for free. Let's see how they handle this. Keeping Azir mid, making sure they have mid pushed up. That's great. Keep defend this choke point. Keep defending the choke point. Oh my god, this is one of the worst mistakes that I see teams make. Misfits should have had a really hard time going through this choke point, and Galio should have been waiting right here. Azir Soldier should have been right here. Jace should have been here earlier, like poking at this choke point. Like, they don't defend the choke point at all, and now Misfits is able to get into the wide like river and get a decent fight. They have Alistar in a flank too. Them defending this choke point would have made things so much harder on SK. What the fuck is SK doing? Yeah, now SK is just gonna get collapsed. I don't understand. Let's play this at normal speed. SK is getting collapsed. Azir is on the different side of the map as Triss, so they can't help each other. Wow, SK, they could have had a better setup, but their dragon setup was so fucking bad. This team has no idea how to macro. Rides into himself into the Azir. Wow. SK got demolished in this fight. They should have actually won this fight 3-0 and the Ride shouldn't have died. But I'll go back and explain why it was so easy for Misfits and why it was so bad for SK. So right now, you see all 4 of these members, right, from SK just going on Dragon. This is not how you play out this kind of comp. When you have Azir, Tristana, and J4, if you let people get on top of you, you already lost the fight. What you want to do is have all your squishy and ranged members on the same side defending this choke point. So what they can do is have J4 start this dragon while Galio rotates over, while Tristana stays here when they... Here, I'll show you. Pull the dragon so it's right here. Tristana positioned right here, Azir positioned right here, Galio positioned right here, J4 right here. J4 and the other 3 right here. So these 3 can hit the dragon together and also defend this choke point together. It's really important that they're able to defend the choke point, because when they're not able to defend the choke point, you saw Misfits like close in and collapse in onto them. That should never be able to happen when SK can maintain control. They just had no idea on what they wanted to do around dragon, and they just knew, okay, we're stronger, we just want to fight. That's not really how this comp works. That's not really how they play the game. Like, this should have been a really good team fight. And this is a point in the game where Misfit champions, they just spotted a tier item. He has a tier item. Like, they're weak. They don't have their items complete. Where SK finished their core item. Like, they finished Stinger. They finished Ghostblade. Like, this is decent time for SK to fight. The other things that's bad for SK is they have stopwatches. But other than that, like, this was an okay fight for SK to take. But just the way they take the fight is so bad. Oh man, I ain't good on SK to, I mean, good on Misfits to punish SK's mistake, but that was not a point in the game where Misfits just runs over SK in a fight. That was a point in the game where it's almost like a 50-50 fight that I would say SK is favored towards. Like, you have a Tristana, a Zir, and a Jace. Like, you have strong backline. Like, you have tools to defend your backline, and you just fucking threw it all away to get some kind of random ass fight at Dragon. Misfits are not miles ahead. It's not miles ahead. This fight is not supposed to go 3-for-1 or 3-for-0. Like, Azir can still do thing. Like, Tristana can be on the same side. Like, the way they played this fight was just so fucking bad, and their positioning around the fight was so fucking bad. Like, you can make an argument that Misfits could have been ahead for the fight. I think I can make an argument that SK should have been ahead for the fight, but the way that SK played the fight, it made it that SK had zero shot at the fight. Like, the way they positioned before the fight was just so fucking bad. It's not about like Jace really matching the Irelia or the Rise, it's forcing Misfits to go through a choke where you have so much zone control as Azir, as Galio, as Jace. They use none of their zone control on the choke. Like, you don't set up fights like that as a team fighting team. If your team comp is Azir, Tristana, you don't start Dragon without pulling it and let the other team collapse onto you. Now it's going to be about Misfits pushing the lead they have. They really has 4-0, so she's going to be able to start solo diving people. And it's going to start getting to the point where Rides can start matching the Jace in a side lane. The Jace has to be careful about Sejuani because he doesn't have cleanse. The Irelia can start shadowing the Rides. The game is getting to a state where now Misfits has all the tools, and SK is on the defensive, and they're going to get pulled around by Misfits playing the map in a very wide way. Like, they can do so many things. They can have the Sejuani go behind the Irelia. They can have the Irelia go behind the Rise and deal with Baron when it comes out with double teleport. Misfits are in the driver's seat now. Yeah, and then they have Alistar behind the Rise. Like, they have so many different ways that they can play out the side lane situation where SK has to be careful in both side lanes. What did I think about SK letting Misfits have Rise? I mean, Morgana was a huge problem for them, and it seems like this Heba guy isn't as good when he doesn't have Morgana, so probably letting them have Rise is fine. But yeah, like, this kind of side lane mistake, it's not, I wouldn't really say this is a mistake from Jace. It's just more of something that's inevitable when you're behind in so much situations and the other team can threaten the map in a very wide way. Misfits is not winning this game because of Rides. Misfits is winning this game because SK has no idea what to do with their lead when they're ahead. Imagine it isn't a Rise. Imagine it's another champion that scales up. Let's just say it was a Jax instead. Or Fiora. This same situation would happen because SK did nothing to pressure their lead when they were actually ahead. And they did nothing to get into good situation when they're actually ahead. So they're not losing because of the Rise. They're losing because of their macro, and they don't know how to use the lead they have and how to set up good macro plays. Like, they set up really good leads on bot side, and they had no idea how to transition those leads. Oof. We can rewatch this one. Oh my god, Irelia going off. It's so fucking sad to see. Irelia just will run over people if you use cooldowns too early. Let's see how this actually happened. So they start the fight on Sejuani. This is Sejuani with passive and stopwatch up. So this Sejuani has aftershock, passive, stopwatch, flash. The only thing she doesn't have up is ult. The Sejuani is unkillable. Oh, she died. Right as I said, she's unkillable. Did she not even proc aftershock? I guess she couldn't proc aftershock because she doesn't have ult up. So she used stopwatch. Okay, she melts instantly. Great JCQ. Alistar stuck in there, but he has ult. Oh my god. Wait, that saved LIDER. Or leader. Did Jace fucking knock back save leader? Wait a minute. I think he might have been fucked. I want to rewatch the situation. Let's watch it slower. Let's watch it at half speed. I think the Jace might have saved leader. Seju fucked. Alistar fucked. Tristana jumps in. Are you fucking serious? Holy shit, the Trist played that bad. Oh my god, no, Tristana, no. Tristana, watch the Tristana here. He jumps in way too close. He jumped in close here. Gets hit by the stun. So the Azir and the Jace knock leader out, but they want to keep leader in here, and they want to force leader to use stopwatch or flash while they just beat down on leader here. Because it's 4 people versus 2 people. It's literally 4v2. It's really Ezreal, Irelia 2 versus Trist, Jace, Azir, and a Galio. It's 4 people. If they land the knockup or the taunt, a leader just dies there. They need to just fucking wait for the Galio to come down and start using the knockup, start using the W. They used their knockaways way too early on leader, and they should have just kept him in this danger zone and kept beating up on him. Because until the Rise arrives at this fight, like, leader's in a really shitty spot. Yeah. Now they're stuck in the choke and the Rise arrived at the fight. Oh my god, SK's coordination is actually so bad. And then they're able to clean up. So, a lot of people were asking me about what I think of leader. I think it's hard to tell. I think leader looks good in this situation, but I'm not sure how leader will do when other people and the other team isn't giving them so much space and making so much mistakes. Like, SK is making so much mistakes, giving Misfits and leader so much space to just carry the team fight against them and do nothing when they have a lead. So it's really hard to judge Misfits and leader's level of play when they're giving so much. Like, SK is just giving so much for free and giving Misfits so much opportunity. Basically, Loco is saying this won't work versus G2. Basically what I'm saying is higher level teams will not give you the same kind of opportunity that SK is giving you. And so how will you function when higher level teams aren't giving the same kind of opportunities that SK is giving you? It would tell more to see them play from behind. More so than play from behind, I want to see them where they're pressured. So there were situations where Misfits was behind, but it didn't really feel like they were behind because SK didn't pressure their lead. I want to see teams put Misfits in uncomfortable situations consistently, and I want to see how leader does. I want to see how the team reacts as a team. Impressions of leaders so far. I'm telling you my impressions. It's hard to get a good grasp on leader when the team is... Okay, that was kind of it. What the fuck were they doing? It's hard to get a good grasp on leader when the team they're playing against is giving them so much openings. I mean, this was a situation where Misfits were so ahead and they dove under turret and they got punished for it. But imagine this situation like earlier on in the game where if leader doesn't get knocked back from the Azir or the Jace and he's stuck in the middle of them and they just auto him down and he's forced to use stopwatch or flash. So like just right now, it's really hard to get a good read on leader. The meta is very favorable for him. Right now, champions like Akali, Irelia, I'm not sure if he plays Rise, but they keep running Rise, so I'm going to assume he plays Rise. Like, a lot of leaders' best champions are in the meta, and he plays extremely well on them, and the enemy teams are forced to do multiple bans. Okay, his Irelia is clean as fuck there. Jesus Christ, he dodged the Azir there too. Damn, this guy's actually so fucking ham. Wait, did they just win off that play? Okay. It's really, really hard to judge leader when he's playing versus players that are clearly worse than him, and he's also in a meta that really favors him. Like, when you start dating someone and everything's just going so well, like you have a great job, like everything's just going well, like then she's not gonna cause fights, right? But what if you're in a shitty spot? What if like you lost your job? What if like she lost someone in the family and like things are shitty for you? That's when the relationship is really tested, right? So right now it's really hard to tell how good Leader is because the situation is just so good for Misfits. They're dominating teams that are worse than them. It's his meta. The team is playing towards him. So it's really hard to judge Leader in the situation where a lot of notches and knobs are favorable towards him. I want to see him in an uncomfortable situation. But overall for this game, like he played really well. Alright, let's go see the last fight in normal speed and then we can end the review. What I think of Faker, hard to get a good judge on him. They go on Seju here. Jarvan hits the EQ. Opening with ult, QQ. Stun on Trist, insta-gip the Trist. Flash over. Dodge the Azir sec with the Q. Land the stun. His stun usage is so good on Irelia, that's one thing I noticed. It's really hard to be good about Irelia stun. Use the W to get the melee creep flow and Q on the melee creep and the Q on the range creep to catch up. Like he has clean Irelia mechanics. No doubts about that. Here's my question for Leader, and here's my question for Leader, and here's my take on Leader for like let's say 100 Thieves or Clutch Gaming or whatever European team that might want to look at Leader. How does Leader do in a meta where you have to blind Orianna, where you have to blind Syndra, where you have to be just blinding Lissandra? How does Leader do in a control mage blind pick mid lane meta? That's my first question for Leader. And second question would be, how does Leader do when he's up against players that are just as good as him and that won't give openings? I want to see Leader in those situations before I give like a really kind of like a final statement on like this is who Leader is, because I've seen very little of him. I've seen him in these EU Master tournaments. I have such little window to look at Leader, so I don't think it's easy for me to make a definitive statement on he's going to be great or he's going to be bad. From in the current meta, in the situation where he's getting the resource, he is a great mid lane. But League is always a changing game, right? That's the difference between Dade and a Faker, right? Dade was really good for a short period of time and when the meta was favorable to him. And like Faker is like an all-time evergreen player. And for Leader to compete in LCS and to compete in LEC and to have a long-term career, he has to be an all-time evergreen player that can play multiple champions.